Okay, in this video, I'm going to create a new generic VM to share with the class. It'll have CentOS 7 installed, Hadoop installed, and a few other niceties. In case some of the students are having trouble with their VMs, you can try this one out. So the first thing we need to do is create a new one. I'm going to name this one HD shared. And we're going to use Linux, Red Hat as the type. We'll go with 2 gigs again as a starting point for the RAM size. You can change that size if you need to. We're going to create a virtual drive disk. I'm going to use VDI. Dynamically allocated, that means the file size will start out small and grow bigger as we add more data to it. I'm going to go with a maximum of 30 gigs this time. Close enough. So there, we have the HD shared VM. It's powered off. We need to boot it with our CentOS 7 ISO. Okay, just before we boot the VM, let's change a couple of settings. We want to be able to use the clipboard. And I'm not sure about the drag and drop, but we'll enable that as well. So there's a shared folder. Now, before we start, we need to mount our optical drive. So I already have the CentOS 7 image in the list here. Now we're going to start. You need to understand that this message here, where it's a warning about auto capture. Once you click inside the VM, it's going to capture your mouse. And for me to get it back, I need to press the left command button. For you, that may be different depending on your OS. So I'll dismiss that. I'm going to click inside the VM. My mouse went away because I don't really have a mouse driver yet. So now I can press enter and start installing. If I want to get my mouse back, I can press the command key and then move my mouse. I'm going to reposition the display a little bit. All right, I'm going to pause the video and we'll come back to this. Okay, once the ISO is booted, or your machine is booted to the ISO, and the initialization is completed, which is what we were seeing earlier, you should see a screen like this. So welcome to CentOS Linux 7. We're just going to accept the defaults mostly. All right, I captured my mouse. Now I have a mouse driver. You notice that if I try to get out of the VM, well, I can't unless I press the command key, or the host key is what Virtualbox refers to it as. So I'm going to press continue, selecting English. And now at this screen, we're going to make sure we got our 30 gig drive selected. We had done. That should be okay. We need to, this is very important. We don't want to do the minimum install. We want to come down here to the development and creative workstation. And I like to also select the development tools. I don't think we need anything else at this time. I'm going to press done. Some checks are going on. Our time zone's already set to New York. That's fine for us on the East Coast. And we're ready to begin the installation. Now, while this is running, for me, I have difficulty controlling my mouse. So I'm going to hit the host key and try to get my mouse back. It may take a little while for that to happen. All right. But once it does, I will pause the video and come back after the package installation is completed. You can see that it's starting the package installation process. There's about 1,500 packages that it has to install. Once that's completed, I'll have better control over my mouse. So for now, I'm just going to pause, and we'll come back when that's done. Okay, just checking in on the progress. As you can see, we're about 1,000 packages in, 986 out of 1,567. And I think it's been about 5 or 6 minutes. So this process can take quite some time. I just wanted to show you what you should be seeing on your end. I'm going to pause, and then we'll come back when it's completed, and I can set the root password. Okay, the installation is complete now. I just captured my mouse, and it's moving around just fine. Since this is going to be a shared machine, I'm just going to create a common root password we can all use. And to do that, I'm going to use root, all lowercase. So 2 words, R-O-O-T, R-O-O-T. Back to back. So root, and hit done. I'll have to press twice because it's a weak password. And then I'm going to finish the configuration. Okay, we've completed the installation. We're ready to reboot. Once I press the reboot button, you'll see my virtual machine window change size. My mouse is captured. I'm going to release it. Virtualbox, the application's in the background there. So we'll watch as our Linux machine boots for the first time. And then it's back to full size. So we've rebooted, and this time we booted from the hard drive because that's earlier in the boot order than the CD-ROM. So we're not dependent on the ISO anymore. Actually, we can come down here and, oh, the ISO's already been ejected, I guess. Yeah, so it's not in the drive anymore. We need to accept the license, read the EULA. If you're okay with it, click I accept, press done. We can give this machine a host name. I recommend we do. I'm just going to call it HD shared. And we're going to turn the Ethernet on so it's connected now. Yes, I'm going to say automatically connect to this network when it is available. So that way Network Manager will bring the network up automatically. Press save. And then we're done with our network and host name. Uh, I I'm gonna click Finish Configuration now. I'm not going to create a user, or should I? Okay, you convinced me. I'm going to create a common user, and I'm going to call this the Hadoop user. And we'll just call it HD user. I'll make this user an administrator. That's important. And I'm going to give it a password. We'll do HD user, just HD user. And press done twice because it's a weak password. Now we're ready to finish the configuration. It's going to do one more reboot, I think. Or maybe I think all it did was start the login manager, and we're ready to log in Hadoop user. Okay, we logged in as HD user using the password HD user, HDUSER, and eventually this welcome screen pops up. Again, we're going to select defaults mostly. I'm going to use English as my language, the English keyboard. I'm not going to connect any of my online accounts. Since this is going to be a shared machine among all the students, we'll have to be careful with how I'm setting it up now and how you'll personalize it when you adopt it. So we're all set. We can now see the desktop. We've got these getting started videos. If you want to play one of those to get familiar with GNOME, might be a good idea. All right. I think the next step now is to install the Virtualbox additions so we can actually have a better user experience with our virtual machine. I'll show that next.